Hey guys, so today I'm going to share with you how I go about utilizing the bill log form that I created. Now, I mentioned this form very briefly in the bill binder setup video that went live a few days ago on the channel. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave it linked above and also in the description box for you. I just kind of give you an overview of how I set up our bill binder for our everyday, monthly, finance, so on and so forth. Now, the bill log form is just a simple form that I created using a legal pad, as it's a longer sheet versus just a notebook piece of paper. But basically what it is that I write down all of our bills for that month on that form, as well as I record all the income that comes in for the month on that form. I have an area for debt on the form as well, and then an area for savings, and then I kind of total everything up at the end. Now, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, I actually picked up on this method that I use within the form of how I pay the bills a few years back at a class I did at a church that we used to attend. Now, when I first heard the method, when the presenter of the class presented the method to me, or to the class rather, I was like, she's crazy. That doesn't work. I mean, it can't work. Like, the numbers just didn't add up. But as she kept going and kind of broke it down and showed us, I realized, okay, that kind of makes sense. So basically what it is that I have gotten to the point where all the bills are set up to be paid in 5-day increments. Now, beforehand, before I even was introduced to this method of budgeting, if you will, of how to pay the bills, I would pay bills when they were due. If the light bill was due on the 26th, I would log in on the 26th. The 27th, the insurance was due. Log in on the 27th and pay it then. Light bill due on the 15th, pay it then. You know, that's kind of what's around. So it left me touching the bank account, the money, like literally every single day or every other day. Or at least it felt that way because there was always something due. Now, mind you, this has been a few years ago since I got introduced to this method, and to this day, it still works for me. And I started this when I was working a 9 to 5, getting a standard 2-week check, bi-weekly, however you want to put it, and so on. And now that I am self-employed and I get paid weekly, it still works and still applies. Now, by all means, it did take some moving around of things. It took a little time to get it structured. It didn't just happen like, okay, I'm going to do this now, this is how it's going to go. No. It took some structuring. It took me really sitting down and doing a complete budget, looking at what the income was for what paychecks, so on and so forth, and what bills typically come out of those particular paychecks. So again, I was paid every other week, every 2 weeks. The hubby was paid every 2 weeks. So in essence, in our household, we were getting a check every single week because we were on separate pay periods. Hope that made sense. He would get a check this Friday, next Friday I got a check, and then he get one, and then I got one, etc. So in essence, we were receiving income once a week, even though both of us were really getting paid every 2 weeks. So with all that said, I got to the point where I had to call the utility companies, call creditors, anybody that we had bills that we had to pay, call them and get the bills moved around, change the due dates. Now, just a quick side note in case you don't know that you can do that. 9 times out of 10, if you call your utility companies or any creditors that you have, you can get the due date changed. Just call them up, let them know that, hey, this is going on. It works better on my paydays here, blase, and they will change the due date for you. So it took me a little time to kind of maneuver and see what works best as far as this bill being due at this time, coming up for this check, so on and so forth. And I simply called the creditors, utility companies, etc., and I moved those paydays, those due dates around. So again, I pay my bills in 5-day increments. So from the 1st to the 5th, the 6th to the 10th, or the 11th rather, the 6th to the 11th, then the 12th, and so on and so on and so on. It's all set up like that. And I want to say that's how it's set up. I've been doing it for so long like that. It's the dates like that, the 1st through the 5th, the 6th through the 11th, or maybe the 6th through the 10th, and the 11th through the 15th. Anyways, it's set up in 5-day increments, long story short. And again, it took some time to get it set up like this, but once I did, it just worked for us. Because typically what happens is, let's say for instance, you do get paid every 2 weeks. So your paycheck is, let's just say $1,000 for namesake, and your mortgage is due on that particular check. So you're like, okay, I gotta pay it. So you pay your mortgage. Let's say your mortgage is $900. So you pay it. You only got $100 left over. Well, that kind of sucks. Now, mind you, your spouse's check may be $2,500. So it probably makes sense to pay the mortgage off of his check versus off of yours. That way you actually have money left over once you take out the mortgage payment. Hope that made sense. Okay, moving on. So again, guys, it wasn't just like light and day where I just said, okay, I'm gonna start doing this, and I started doing it. It took some moving around, maneuvering things around, changing up the due dates on certain bills, and realizing what works and what did not work, and going from there. And again, for me, it has been working thus far for all these years. And now that I am self-employed, I do get paid every week, and it still pretty much work out the same exact way. I know what bills are coming up due in this particular time frame, and I know how much income I need to have to make that work, so on and so forth. So again, it always comes back to budgeting. All right, so let me turn the camera around and show you guys exactly how this form looks and exactly how I go about utilizing it. Okay, so let's discuss these pens first. So I absolutely love this particular brand of pens. This is the Friction Pilot. It actually is a erasable pen. Absolutely love these. I got these off of Amazon.com. I want to say they came in a pack of maybe 18 or so, but you could buy them in different increments. But anyways, I absolutely love these pens. So I do a little color coding when it comes to writing out things for the budget. And I like to use green for money because money is green. Red for me represents urgency and debt as it pertains to the budget. So that's what the red is for. Blue is very calming. It's my absolute favorite color. So I use this to write down the actual amount of the bills, expenses, and so on. And then I have just a generic Dollar Tree black pen, of course. So I absolutely love those Friction pens. If you guys have never heard of them or seen them, I'll do a little review on it if you want me to, but definitely check them out on Amazon. They are just thebomb.com. Okay, so here is the bill log, the master copy. I keep this copy in the front of the bill binder, and I just make a copy of it at the top of each month to do the bill log. So getting into it, I'll show you guys quickly here. So I have a little key that I have done, and it's really for the hubby's purpose. BP, bill pay, OL, online, ACH automatically comes out. Just that way he knows. And I have those little abbreviations above the bills itself. So you can see that. So what I do is I write out budget and then actual. And then I write in the amount that I'm budgeting for each expense. Simple as that. Now I write that in black pen when the statement, the bill statement actually comes in or the bill is paid online, etc. Then I will write in the actual amount. So for instance, if I didn't pay the entire amount for some reason on the mortgage, I'll write in what I actually paid so I get my actual total for the end of the month. So that's what the blue is for. That's what I do there. So the way the bills are set up again is in 5-day increments. So the 1st to the 5th, the 6th to the 10th, 11th through 15th, 16th through the 20th. Then we have the 21st through the 31st, and that's the end of the month. My bills, it took me some time to get this structure set up, like I stated before, and they're actually based on when my bills are due. So for instance, the mortgage is due on the 1st of the month. We all know we get a quote-unquote grace period to pay it by the 15th. With most mortgage companies, my water bill is actually not due until the 20th. However, my bill pay is still old school, and they mail off a check to the water company. So to make sure they get it on time, I have it underneath the 10th, and it's sent out bill pay by the 10th of the month to get there on the 20th. And then as far as these here, like for instance, my husband's cell phone is due on the 14th. So I know between the 11th and 15th, I need to make sure the phone bill is due. Same thing with the pest control. It doesn't come out until the 15th. So I know between 11th and 15th, I need to have that $35 in there to pay the pest control. The retirement comes out, or so it's a pen because it's ACH, on the 15th. So I know that I need to have that in there by the 15th. And the same thing on and on and on. So what I do here is that I have actually listed out all the debts that we have outside of the mortgage and my husband's student loans, which is a topic for another day. But all the debts are listed here, and I write them in the current balance for the current month here. And I just simply take that balance off the last month's statement to get it for this month. Simple as that. Then as we come over, I have an area that's budgeted for tithes, house savings, and then daycare savings. You guys know I run a home daycare, so I do save for the daycare as well. However, right now, because of finances being tight, paying off debt, I have stopped daycare savings. We have an emergency fund set up, so I'm not funding anything for the house. But tithes are always going to be paid. We've got to get back to the Lord first. So I have that sitting here, the amount expected to pay into tithes. Then going down, I have a little area that I use for my sink funds. This lets me know what sink funds I'm currently saving for this particular month. So for instance, auto insurance, school, back to school is in August, so I'm saving for that. And then Lola's insurance is due in December, so I'm saving for that. And I need to write that in. I think it's like $13 or $14 for the week. So and I'll do a whole separate video on sync funds, explaining to you guys what categories I have and how I break it down and what a sync fund is in general. So what I typically do is write in the amount that's needed for the month, and then divide that amount up to get the amount for the week. And then at the end of the month, I will write down what I actually put into those envelopes. And then I'll do a separate video on how I track all of that for you guys. And then down here at the bottom, simply as it states, total, and I write in all the totals. So I write in the amount of the expected expenses, and it includes the ties of this here, sync fund, weekly envelopes, and then extra that should be going to debt. So all of these numbers are basically subtracted. Well, I would say all of the top numbers, not the extra debt, is subtracted from the expected income. What's left is what should be going towards debt payment. So there you have that. And then again, I will come in and write down the actual totals at the end of the month and total everything out. Over here is where I simply write in and record our income. So I get paid every week. My husband gets money every week as well. As I stated in the financial situation video I posted a couple days back, his income is not steady at the moment. So when we get it, and that's that. So anyways, I write in the date, the amount, and then the source of income. So daycare, Uber, daycare, I-9 Sports is what my husband is doing, and then daycare. And it just goes for the entire month. I continue to do that, and I write it in. So again, at the end of the month, I can total all that up, bring that number here, and write down what our actual income amount was, and put everything here. And that's one thing I forgot to put right here was income for this month. So I'll have to put in a little line to show income. But that is pretty much it and how I do it. Let me go over it once more so you guys can kind of get a gist. And as always, guys, if there's any questions about anything, do ask. Okay, guys, so I hope that gave you a little bit of insight as to how my mind works when it comes to dealing with the monthly budget, the bills, the numbers, and all of that stuff there. And again, one of the main things I love about the way this form is outlined for me, it works for me in mine. What I really like about it is that it is, in a nutshell, everything that's going on related to finances in our home. I don't have to go looking throughout the binder for information. It's all on this form, and it just works for me. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask down below in the comments. If not, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. I'm always more than happy to answer your questions. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, stay true.